Now, earlier this week, I spoke about Lawrence Okolie in the rankings with the WBC. Somehow, he's gone from number 5 to beating an unknown guy fighting out of Germany. I think Hassan Mohammed, his name was, to being ranked in number 3 to going straight up to number 1. I don't agree with that. I think it's farcical, but ayo, that's what the WBC did. Now, he gave an interview, and to be honest, I didn't watch it. To be honest, I just seen it kind of popping up in my recommended and stuff like that a day or so ago. Might even have been yesterday or the day before, kind of addressing that and this, that, and the other. And now it's been announced, the Ring Magazine announced this in the wee hours of this morning, that the All-London derby between Lawrence Okolie and Richard Riakporhe, scheduled for April the 5th, is now off as Okolie has suffered an injury in training. It hasn't gone into the full details as to what the injury is, but that's what they're saying here. Now, that card, honestly, when it was announced first, and this obviously is Frank's first show in Queensbury with Dazn, he's doing a show this weekend, which is Nicky Ball. He's headlining in Liverpool. I believe this is going to be the last show he's doing. I think this is actually the last show he's doing for TNT. And to be fair to Frank Warren, he's going out with a decent show, world title fight, if nothing else. I'm just trying to get the actual card itself up here now. Now, it's a weird one because originally when this card was announced, we were only told it would be Joe Joyce, Dylan White, originally when the press conference was, Adelaide, Jamie TKV, that's still on. BoxRec still have Okolie versus Riakporhe listed, but we know now that's not going to happen. It does have me kind of wondering what are they going to do with this card, but as soon as I go on BoxRec, I see loads of fights on here. I mean, loads of names. They've got names like Mark Chamberlain making a comeback. That's his first fight, I think, since he lost to Josh Padley. Delicious Ori, we already kind of knew about him. So there's a few names on this card. So it looks like Frank Warren is still building that card up, but it's lost a good co-main event. Now, at the minute, on BoxRec anyway, it doesn't have anyone announced for Joe Joyce, but we believe it's going to be Filip Hrgovic. I know The Sun and a lot of other media outlets were reporting that pretty much on the day when Dylan White pulled out. Frank Warren said in a recent interview with the Ring Magazine today that it's likely going to be Filip Hrgovic. We all hope it is, because that to me is a better main event than Dylan White versus Joe Joyce. It really is. It's a really intriguing fight. It's a really intriguing fight. And, you know, again, you know, Dylan White, Joe Joyce was kind of winner stays on, loser has to really reassess things. Still the same. I mean, if Hrgovic turns up and he loses, which I don't think is likely, but he'll really need to reassess things after that. Whereas Joe Joyce, if he gets a win over Hrgovic, he's catapulted himself right back into the scene. So, a lot riding on this fight. But I was looking forward to Riakporhe versus Lawrence Okolie. Lawrence Okolie, yes, I've been very critical of him in the past. Certainly when he was down at cruiserweight, for how he fought certain fights. Not every fight. There were fights like against Krzysztof Glowacki, like against, I think it was someone he fought on the AJ versus Pulev undercard. He had fights like that where he looked powerful, he looked imposing, he looked really, really good, really, really exciting. And then there's the Isaac Chamberlains, there's the Matty Askins, there's that fight he had against that guy who's Mikhail Seslak, I think is the guy's name, where he just looked awful. You know, David Light, CBS, all that. Now, having said that, since he's moved up to bridgerweight and then subsequently heavyweight, he's been looking a lot better. And me and Ade spoke about this a few times, that since Okolie is no longer having to make 14 stone 4, we're seeing more of a charisma to him, more of a personality to him, more kind of jovial. I mean, like, he had me in stitches with the Madonna comments he was making about Richard Riakporhe. I still giggle at it now because it's just such a strange thing. I don't even want to go there with that, but still, it made me laugh. And I'm seeing a bit more of Okolie, and I'm liking it. It's interesting. It does have me wondering what his plans are moving forward, because apparently Riakporhe is going to stay on this card. There's talk that Telma is going to be featured on this show, which is good. I always like watching most of Telma. He's been out of the ring for a couple of months. I still think he's young enough that they need to keep him, you know, active. I know we step up the levels, but, you know, activity is activity. I'm all for it, especially for young fighters. So the card is not necessarily a write-off. It's still got a lot going for it. My question now is, what does Lawrence Okolie do? Because some people, I've seen some people say it, and, you know, I mean, we can speculate. A lot of people do. Me and Ade, on our show that's going to be going out tomorrow, we're kind of speculating about Dylan White's next move. We're not doubting the validity of the injury, but we're kind of, you know, like, did it? Is it really? And you look at this and you just think, well, he's ranked number 1 by the WBC. Don't know who Kabayel is going to face next. which we don't. You know, they're bringing up Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, and Anthony Joshua. They're the names they're mentioning. No one wants to see any of those fights. No offense. I mean, Fury probably the most interested. I'd probably pick him over Kabayel, to be honest. I don't want to see him fight Joshua. I don't want to see him fight Wilder because I think they're fairly run-of-the-mill wins for Kabayel. I don't necessarily know about Lawrence Okolie. Lawrence Okolie is very exciting. He's very explosive. He's very big. He'd be the bigger man of the two at heavyweight. I wonder, is there, something potentially in the pipeline down the lines? Maybe. He's number one ranked by the WBC. He's spoken before about wanting to get a title shot and wanting a high ranking. How do we not know that the WBC, because you know what they're like, they've said that they're not going to order Alexander Usyk to make a defense against Kabayel. They're going to let that, do its own thing. They're going to let him fight Daniel Dubois, not considering the fact that WBA already called him mandatory, but wait and see on that one. Could we potentially see them order as a kind of interim title final eliminator fight, which they don't normally tend to do, but it's the WBC, they make it up as they go along. Could they potentially look to order Lawrence Okolie as number one ranked to fight Kabayel? I think it'd be pretty harsh on Kabayel if they did, but as a fight, stylistically, that'd be a real intriguing fight. Okolie, now that he's not making weight, although he does still look, it's a weird sight seeing a 260-pound man hopping up on that like his toes, like a cruiserweight. It was such a strange sight. But Okolie, even at 200 pounds, he always had punching power. He was always a tremendous puncher, even from his amateur days. Lawrence Okolie, I knew of him in the amateurs, but he kind of came to public attention way back in the day, before he even turned pro, with rumours he was dropping Anthony Joshua in sparring. Whether he believed that or not, leave that one out there. But he's always had punching power. We've always known that about him. And at heavyweight, he is hitting plenty hard, especially with the right hand. So, although Kabayel was able to do a number on Zhilei Zhang is as slow as molasses, and he's got absolutely no stamina to speak of. Lawrence Okolie is altogether different, and he's very physically strong. And you got to remember, Kabayel fought Zhilei Zhang in the pocket, and Zhilei Zhang left himself open, the body shots, everything. Try and fight Lawrence Okolie in the pocket. Ask Isaac Chamberlain how that went. Ask David Light. Ask CBS, who won the fight. Ask him what it's like to fight in the pocket with Lawrence Okolie, or try to. They'll tell you it's not particularly easy, and it's not particularly good viewing for the fans either, but it's effective at the end of the day. You might not like what you're seeing, but it is very effective, if nothing else. So, again, I'm not saying that's necessarily the case, but it's just, I've seen people online speculate that, and it is, fighters, do they fake injuries? Have they done it in the past? Yes. Hell yeah. I mean, there was Vladimir Klitschko, didn't he? Wasn't he saying he was injured or something going into it? He never fought Derek Chisora, but wasn't he meant to fight Chisora and he was spotted playing golf? David Hay, I'm sure David Hay is, wasn't he meant to fight Manuel Char, and then it was announced he was going to fight Tyson Fury. He had a quote-unquote injury. We see these type of things all the time, so I wouldn't rule it out, but that is the situation that I'm reporting on anyway right now with Lawrence Okolie. Do you think he'll fight Richard Riakporhe? If so, well, when? Does this make this card a little bit less in your opinion? At the end of the day, I still like the card. I'm still looking forward to seeing Adelaide TKV. If it is Joe Joyce Herkovich, it's a great fight. It's a flipping great fight. I love that. And the undercard, Mark Chamberlain, people like that, it's not a complete write-off. Certainly not. It's not as strong as it once was, but it's not a write-off by no stretch of the imagination. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I hope you enjoyed it, people. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe as always if you haven't already. And until next time, peace.